Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Part Lane Podcast, officially sponsored by Manscaped. Luke, can you do the Manscaped bit, please, mate?
Of course, I'm wearing the top, so might as well. No, if you haven't all heard of Manscaped before, they are our channel sponsor and have been for some time now. So big shout out to them. They are one of the biggest male grooming brands, across the world. So if you're interested in buying anything for your partner, just whoever it might be, your brother, whoever needs it, go over to manscaped.com and pick out whatever you like, and you can have 20% off plus free shipping using the code PARKLANE20. That's PARKLANE20.
Wonderful stuff. So tonight, full house. Luke, how you doing, mate?
Mate, I'm good. Yeah, just chilling. Not kind of like seeing out the end of the season. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not really in any kind of mood about Spurs at the moment. Like, I'm not thrilled and I'm not like annoyed. I'm just kind of just seeing the end of the season out and then looking forward to the following season, to be honest.
Are we all looking forward to transfer window, or is that too far off still, do you reckon?
I don't know.
Lou Levy is our chairman, so I never look forward to transfer windows.
This is very true. So, Mr. Scarfy, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, very good, thank you. Nice to be back and talking Tottenham.
Lovely stuff. Dave, I'll come to you because Winnie's got his gob round something, so...
Not for the first time.
I'm all good, mate. A bit of a cough, but I've calmed down a little bit over the last 20 minutes. But yeah, I'm all right.
Lovely stuff. And Winnie, now that you've got your voice back, all good, mate?
I'm brilliant, mate. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. I mean, there's plenty to talk about. There's plenty of good and bad, but look, I'm good, so that's all that matters.
Obviously, it's been a tough week. It has been a long week. We all look older. We all look like we've had a long one. We've all had drinks. We've all had a lot of shouting and screaming and everything like that. Start off with the press conference that we had from Ange this week was a very interesting one and said some very home truths. And obviously, a year ago and about a month, we had the same from Conte. So, Dave, take us away. How was that, mate?
Yeah, so I was actually quite interested in the press conference. The first time I've really watched a whole thing, but I think for me, it's the same old tune in terms of what managers say about the players that are at Tottenham, in that they're not good enough. They've got to be changed. I remember last season Tottenham were going to apparently rip up 10 contracts. That didn't happen. We know as Tottenham fans that change needs to happen, and just saying change needs to happen. I think it's more of a case of that's a plea to the board, in my opinion, saying, look, you got me in to do the job I'm going to do, but I can't do it with the players I've got at my disposal. It's time to cut some of that dead wood. And, when you've got Emerson Royale making 100 appearances for Tottenham when he shouldn't have made 10, it kind of tells you where we're at in that sense. But I like the way Ange speaks, and I've always said this, and I always say it, but me and Luke banged the Ange drum before he came to Tottenham, and I'm still fully behind him. It does worry me, the performances of late. It's one of them ones where we're just getting battered. Like, going forward, we don't really have a clue in terms of the cohesion, and it's like we don't have the players to be able to do what Ange wants them to do, which is, it's a hard watch. And I think he knows that as well. And I think it's a hard watch for him. But one thing I want to touch upon, and before everybody gets on their high horse and their Ange out and all that nonsense, I will say that when he was at Celtic, it was the same thing at the beginning. Celtic were not good at the beginning. All of their fans were saying the same thing, tweeting the same thing. They can't defend. We can't attack. We can't do this. We can't do that. It's just one of them ones where he understands he's got players to move out and bring his own players in who can play the style of football he wants. I know there's been talk about the 2 coaching staff that he wanted from Celtic coming in this summer to Tottenham, which I think will make a huge difference. But yeah, it's not fun, but his press conferences always make me comfortable because that's a man there who knows what he wants, a man there who knows what he needs, and he's not making any excuses. He's saying, some of these players, they are good players, but they're not good enough for what I want them to do. And, that's the nuts and bolts of it. So get behind him. It's hard at the moment. I do think that he needs to drop a few players, but that's a topic for another day. But in regards to the press conference, I think he speaks really, really well. I think when he talks about what his vision is, it's exactly what you want it to be. You know, how the progression, and he'll die on a hill, like he says, to play the brand of football that he wants to play. Like he said in the press conference, when he went to Japan, everyone said it won't work here. He went to Scotland, everyone said it won't work here. And it doesn't start great in either of those places, but it always ends up great. So get behind him. Let's stick with him. Let's hope that we have the chairman actually pulls his finger out this summer. I mean, I don't have much hope for that, to be honest, because it's Daniel Levy, but you never know.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate here. Do you think you're banging a dead drum? Do you think you're flogging a dead horse here, mate, and all that? Because obviously there are a lot of Spurs fans out here that are very much, and we know our fan base is very split. It's very down the middle. It's Ange in, Ange out, Levy in, Levy out, happy clappers, all this stuff. Do you think you're banging against a brick wall and then you're going to end up with a
I'll tell you what we have got, mate, and I don't want to upset anybody here. What we have is a reactionary fan base. That's what we have. We have a fan base that reacts instantly to everything. And I'm guilty of that times too. I react instantly and things piss me off and I get angry and whatever else. But when you take a minute just to take a breath and assess everything and you look at what Ange actually has at his disposal, you know, he doesn't have a team that he's built. You know, no. He doesn't. You know, you remember...
He's got players from what? Pochettino's era still, hasn't he? So literally...
Look, put it this way. Jose Mourinho came out a week or so ago and said, Tottenham are just that type of team. There's players there that are there when I was there that I didn't want there. You know, and he said the same thing about Man United. He said the same thing about Tottenham. And unfortunately, we have a chairman that values pounds over prizes, and getting all these players that Daniel Levy thinks are worth a lot of money. No other club's going to pay a lot of money for him. Højbjerg, clubs aren't going to pay big bucks for Højbjerg. Clubs aren't going to pay huge money for Reguilon. They're not going to pay massive money for Emerson. These are players we are just, in some cases, going to have to take a loss on. You know, I do question the recruitment in the past because half the players, they're not up to it at all. And when you have a dynamic manager who wants to play a brand of football, which is, you know, not dissimilar to Pep and to Klopp, and, you know, he wants to play that attacking football. Pep Guardiola went in at Man City and he spent like 250 million on his defence because he couldn't quite get it right. He bought 2 goalkeepers because he wasn't happy with the first one he bought. You know, he's not afraid to ship people out. João Cancelo, prime example. You know, for you don't work for me anymore. Bye-bye. And that's the mentality that our ownership need to have. They need to say, you know what, we can't. It's not a case of let's try and, you know, save a few quid here and save a few quid there. We're saving a few quid with a go-kart track under the fucking stadium. So sell these dog shit players, back your fucking manager, and make Tottenham fans happy for a change. It's that simple.
Exactly. Yeah, but do you not think, though, Dave? Do you not think that, like, you know, where we have come from a club that finished religiously 10th, 11th, 12th in the Premier League to a club that's finished 4th, 5th, 6th in the Premier League, season after season after season after season? I understand and I get your point when it comes to, like, you know, certain players. Of course, like, there's lots of players we're going to have to make a loss on. But do you not also think that this fan base is so criminally just ridiculous when it comes to, like, things? Where do they expect us to finish? Do you expect us to win the Premier League? It's not going to happen. Like,
do you know what?
It's not going to happen in 5 minutes.
You make a good point, right? But I think why this, and I speak for, I reckon, most of the fan base here, and why everybody is so fucked off and pissed off with everything that's been happening. You know, I'm 36 years old. I've been a Tottenham fan for a very, very long time, you know? So what pisses everybody off is we get to the cusp. We did under Poch. We get to the cusp, a Champions League final, you know, win the league. We're 2 or 3 players short from that point to really push on. Yeah. We don't ever push on.
We hang on the door, but never learn how to open it.
We don't push on. What happens is the managers don't get backed, results turn a bit poor, and then they're sacked. And then we bring in, you know, Conte and Mourinho. That's a project for, you know, Daniel Levy. He was a Mourinho lover. We all knew that. But what I'm saying, what I say is, the reason why as fans we are so frustrated is we see the same continuation of problems week in, season out. We have the same expectations, you know, and it's season in, season out. And yeah, we were 11th, 12th all them years ago, but we have built up a club that should finish in the top 6 in the Premier League. But a few seasons ago, we should have won the Premier League. We should have won the Champions League. We should have pushed on from that point and kicked on from that point. And right now we should be challenging for the Premier League, because if we had kicked on at that point and continued to develop and continue to kick on, then we would be in that position. But what's happened is now we've regressed so much that we're now at the start of a brand new project. So we have to trust that project. When Poch came to Tottenham, we were shit at first. We were so crap until he got the players he wanted into the team to play the style of football that he wants to play. That's when we improved. And that's what we need to do with Ange. But the players that Poch had to get rid of were players that, weren't really worth that much. They weren't really that, expensive. We didn't buy them for big money. We're talking about a squad now which has been assembled for big money. You've got Tongi Ndombele, who's been out on loan for God knows how long. When are we finally going to say, do you know what, he's not good enough, let's get rid of him? We had Brian Hill was another one. We paid 30 million plus Lamella for him. Lamella's better than him. When do you come to a point where you say, well, do you know what? He's not good enough. He's not strong enough. Let's get rid of him. But we don't do that. We just hold and hold and hold and hold and hold. And what we end up with is a bloated squad of players that are there on big, big money, meaning we can't spend the money we need to take us to the next level. It's got to end now. This summer, it has to end. Things have to change. We have to get rid of the dead wood and back Ange completely.
Yeah, I do 100% agree with you. And going back to the point about we should have kicked on when we did, we should have done. But we can't have the same expectations as we had, as we would have had in 2016, 17, 18. Do you know what I mean? Under Mauricio Pochettino to now 2024, we can't still expect to win the league when we're in this state.
No. But the only expectation I have as a fan is when my players put that club crest on their chest, which is a fucking honour. To wear that shirt and go in front of all our fans, some of the most passionate fans. I expect energy. I expect never give up attitude. And I expect them to fight for that fucking shirt. And what we're seeing, and a lot of fans are seeing, is players that have clearly been told they're not good enough for this system and they're going to be gone, who don't want to fight. And that's the problem. This is where people are getting the ump, because people are like, you're not fighting. People pay good money to travel away. Went to Newcastle, got thumped 4-0. Went to Chelsea, got thumped. Gone to Liverpool, got thumped. You're paying that money to travel up and down the country to support your club, and you got players on the pitch who aren't putting in the effort. Why the fuck are you paying your money?
They're blaming the players, are they? They're blaming the manager.
No, they're not. It's not just about the manager, but the manager picks those players, Luke. So he's seeing something on the training ground each and every week.
We had this discussion today. He goes out and he picks, a load of youngsters, and we get bad 6-0 by Liverpool. Who gets the blame then? He can't win. Whatever he chooses,
it's not even youngsters, mate.
But you take that on as a manager. That's the choice you make when you come into the job.
Hang on, let me finish. It doesn't have to be youngsters. How long have I been crying out for Lo Celso to start a game? Because he's looked good since he came on. Maddison, been dropped to the bench. Fair enough. How long have we been saying Richarlison needs to play through the middle? Son can't play on the left. Emerson Royale isn't a left back. Emerson Royale got absolutely torn to shreds by Madueke against Chelsea. And then he's like, I don't know what. He had a terrible game against Chelsea against Madueke, but let's put him against fucking Mo Salah. It's those sort of decisions which have people going, what are you doing? I am fully Ange in. I back Ange completely. Yeah, it's been a shit run. It has been awful. And I'm the most negative person I know sometimes about football. But even I'm like, no, you know what? We're at a point now where we can't keep restarting projects. But to progress through this project, we've got to back the manager. But the manager has to make decisions which are beneficial to the club as well. If a player isn't good, play someone else. Player isn't performing, drop him. Play someone else. Richarlison, Lo Celso.
If I can just ask you just quickly, do you think that maybe he's putting these players in this starting lineup to prove a point to Daniel Levy, like a lot of managers have done in the past, saying these are not good enough? These are what I've got. I don't think
he needs to prove a point, though. That's the thing, because as far as I'm concerned, Ange Postecoglou got this job because of his impression during the interview process, which is what all came out, and how much Daniel Levy likes him and how much Daniel Levy admires what he wants to do about playing the Tottenham way and attacking football and things like that. He doesn't need to prove a point, because all the other managers in the past have proved that point. We all know Emerson ain't good enough, but he's played 100 games for the club. We all know that players are not good enough to be starting anywhere near this team. I don't think Skippy's good enough, but at least when he came on today, he had some fight, some bite about him. He put himself about the pitch. He's not a fucking left back, and he played better than Emerson there all game. He managed Salah a lot better. So for me, it's not about proving a point, and he shouldn't have to prove a point. If he's still having to prove a point to a chairman, these players aren't good enough, then the chairman's the problem. It's that simple. Exactly. You don't need to prove a point. You don't need to prove a point. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just seeing something on a training pitch, and he's picking these players. And that's the nuts and bolts of it. H, I know this isn't a dig at you because I know you love Højbjerg, but Højbjerg the last few weeks has been shit. You know, he's been awful when he's been on the pitch, in my opinion. Yeah, he had a good 20 minutes against Arsenal, whatever it was. Emerson Royale's been absolute dog shit. You know, Maddison has not been playing well, but continued to start until last week. You know, so as far as I'm concerned, you've got players like Romero who are stepping up, who are trying to be a leader, who are trying to bring something to this team. You have got players on the bench that are clearly chomping at the bit to get on and get some game time. Lo Celso, Richarlison, Skippy came on today and made a massive difference. They're the sort of players I want to see in my football shirt, not players who don't give a shit because they know they're off to get a bag of money at the end of the year.
No, I
I've just
understand
ran
that.
it for 15 minutes, boys. I'm really sorry.
I understand that, mate. Okay, right. So let's get into the crux of it. So the Chelsea game Thursday night, it was a night to forget. It was a night to not want to care about, and it's a night that if you're a neutral, it was good to see 2 goals go into one team's net. But for us as Spurs fans, it was difficult. So, H, if I can come to you, what was your overall feeling from the Chelsea game, mate, to start off with?
Well, firstly, I was on TV, so I didn't really see the game. So it's hard for me to say, look, this was wrong. But from watching the highlights to watch as much as the game afterwards I could, it's another 2 goals conceded by set pieces. And, you know, it's becoming a big issue. We know about it. We're not adapting to it. And it's just inexcusable. You're just not marking other players. It's continuous zonal marking. And ultimately, for me, if you watched that, it felt like watching us under Mourinho or Conte. We were on the back foot. We had the ball, done nothing with it, hardly created a chance. And Chelsea could have won by more. So it was as simple as that. We weren't good enough. We lost the game, a London derby. We didn't turn up. And I think all the questions and criticism from that affair. And we wanted to see a response Sunday that we just haven't seen.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. So Winnie and Luke, you was both together having a nice drinking. Was it Glasgow that you was having a nice drinking in the Spurs supporters bar? Obviously, on aggregate, it is 6-1 to Chelsea this year. It is diabolical. It is bad. They are as bad as we are, if not worse. They've got a team who are a bunch of individuals, and yet we're meant to be a team who want to play for the badge. So, Winnie, how many pints did you sink, mate, and how bad was it, and did it help you get through it?
For work purposes, I didn't have any drink on Thursday. But in reality, yeah, look, do you know what? Like, I'm gonna be like brutally honest here. We need to just get over it. Like, it's just as simple as that. Like, there's nothing more I can say. Like, I don't think we like the fan base at the minute. And I'll just touch on that. I know this isn't the kind of the question you asked me, but I just want to get it out there and kind of say it because it's really, really starting to piss me off. Like, what?
That's fair, mate. That's fair.
We literally just need to get over it. Like the fan base, our fan base, and our support, our away support, and our home support is phenomenal. Okay, but our fan base are fucking toxic. I genuinely cannot stand our fan base. There's fan bases I prefer over our own fan base, and it shouldn't be like that. It is getting beyond a joke now. And like I'm seeing Ange out. I've seen it on here, Ange out. Fuck me. Like, what are we supposed to do? All that will happen, yeah, is if we was to do that, we'll go and get, I don't know, the geezer from Sporting Lisbon, whatever his name is. I can't even remember his name. The one who was
Amarin.
Get him in, yeah.
You just start again, don't you?
And after 8 months, we'll be going, he ain't got a clue. I don't know what. Get him out. Fuck him off. It's just pissing me off. It really is. But alluding to your Chelsea game, I don't think we started the game that bad. What I will say is the header from Chalobah was phenomenal. It's a fucking brilliant header. But, and I don't care, people disagreed with me in the bar. I think that fucking, what's his name? Cucurella, who looks like he stinks, by the way.
He's a dog shit player. He's a dog
Johnson
shit player.
It's a foul. It's a foul. Whether Johnson's going to beat Chalobah in the air, probably not. But he will make an effort, and he will make Chalobah make the header. And he's not going to win the header, but he will put him under pressure. He probably doesn't score it. Little things like that, and there just seems to be a lot of things going against us when we don't need it. We've got a lot of players out of form currently. Okay, you could afford to have 1 or 2 out of form, not as many as we've got. We've got a lot of players out of form, so we can rotate our squad, but the players coming in are also out of form. It's just the way it is. But we also have a lot of decisions going against us and stuff like that, which is what happens in football. Don't get me wrong. But again, it's happening to us at the wrong time. It just seems to be. Look, we've lost 4 on the spin for. And I know, obviously, I mentioned this in the group, and obviously, Dave, you said we've definitely had a run like this before, but we've had a run now of Newcastle away, which is like kind of for some reason now a bogey place for us to go. We just can't seem to get anything there. Arsenal at home, which currently they're winning the league. They're winning the league for a reason. They're obviously a decent side. Chelsea away. How many times have we won there? Liverpool away. How many times have we won there? We've just had a shit.
But surely you expect the team to show fight in every single game, which we haven't done till the very end of the Arsenal game and the very end of this game. The minimum you go is, okay, like to James's Park, for example, it's going to be hard. We're talking about a depleted team. I expected to fight. Yeah, it would have been better not turning up. It would have been better sending some kids from the playground because it was diabolical. Chelsea, 11 senior players available, including a player I hadn't even heard of. And we make them look like Barcelona. I get what you're saying, Winnie, and I completely agree with you about the fan base. But what's frustrating me, and I don't know how others feel, so I can't speak on behalf of the fan base, but the results are bad. It's the performances that we're seeing. We're not creating. We can't defend. We're struggling to score. Overall, everywhere I look, I struggle to pick out a single positive. And that ultimately is the problem right now.
Surely
I agree.
Surely that's coming from like what Winnie said. And it links in with Dave's point from earlier as well. So you've got a lot of players out of form, but then you've got a lot of players that are out of form and don't give a fuck about playing for the badge either. That's the thing. So you've got a lot of people not wanting to follow the mantra of Ange, and this is why then it comes to it. Yeah, Ange picks a team that he sees in training, but then it's also that he's going to be wanting to have them play as they are on the training ground on the pitch, and they're not doing it. So then that is on the players, isn't it, ultimately? And Luke, if we can just bring it on to you. Obviously, it was a poor game, and we've got a wonderful 143 people watching us tonight. And obviously, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe because Luke and the guys do a lot of great work and work their nuts off for this, unlike our players did in the Chelsea game, because we all want them to, but they don't. But was it, as like Winnie said, it's a lot of backwards and forwards, it's a lot of going around and doing this. Was it as frustrating for you as it was probably for me and Dave, where we was ready to either headbutt a wall or go and hit a rat? Let's put it that way in Dave's case.
I mean, it was frustrating for us. It was a little bit easier, right? We were in a really cool place. We were surrounded by loads of Spurs fans. It was so shout out to everybody at the Glasgow Sports Club because it was a really nice venue to go to and watch the game, to be with lots of other fans. But so it's a little bit more kind of chill. It wasn't too bad. Rather than when I'm at home, I get a bit more frustrated watching the game, especially if I'm on my own. But I don't know. I've gone the opposite way at the moment. I've stopped getting so stressed about performances because at the end of the day, the season is done. I don't really think we finish much lower than 5th. Worst case 6th, but that's still ahead of 90% of fans' expectations. I think there's no way we finish any lower than that. And so realistically, it's about moving on to next season. Look, we're too far off performance-wise Champions League football, so we might as well just go, and look at Europa League, Europa Conference League, and give them a good go. Give the players and the new squad that will come into play a really good chance of, European football and trying to do well. The other thing we've got to look at is, as we spoke about before, is Ange Postecoglou's first season at Spurs. We saw some incredible football at the start of the season. For some reason, due to injuries or whatever has happened since Christmas, that has dropped off. But what we're seeing is the thing with Ange is what you're going to get, and it's really simple. Is that it doesn't matter who's going to play. You've always got to play the same style of football. And at the moment, we're not seeing it come off because we just don't have the players that can play that style of football. The big issue for me is the fact that he doesn't know our best midfield, and that's the biggest problem. When today it was a flat 3 in midfield of Bissouma, Bentancur, Sarr. Against Chelsea, it was Kulusevski, Bissouma, and Sarr. Do you know what I mean? It changes every 5 minutes, and that's the problem. Is that he can't find a midfield that can play that way. Today we got compacted in the midfield, and we refused to play out wide. It was really confusing as to why we didn't do that, because, first 5-10 minutes we played really well through the middle, and then it was, sloppy pass after sloppy pass. At that point, you've got to be able to then change how you play slightly. But look, I've kind of gone on a bit of a ramble here, but I think there's nothing to be concerned about. I think that with every new project manager, you have to give it time. And I think, fortunately for Ange Postecoglou, A, he talks a good game, and B, he's not a checkbook manager. So Daniel Levy isn't going to worry about, am I going to overspend? Do I have to replace him because it's going to cost me too much money? He'll be looking at, good quality players around 20, 30 million pound a pop instead of 50 to 100 million pound players.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. If I can just, obviously, Johnny's put a very good thing in the chat. So obviously, like you said, Luke, we're in 5th at the moment. So next season, it's going to be harder to get 5th though, because you will have Europa League. If you get 5th again and maybe Europa League final stages, don't fire him, continue to back him, but we'll Levy. So I want to just go around the houses just quickly and ask 2 simple questions. One, and this is only after the Chelsea game, so think back how it was on Thursday night, and H for you Friday when you came off DV.
Yeah.
Ange
in or Ange out? And will Daniel Levy back him in the summer? So, Luke, Ange in, Ange out.
100% Ange in. I don't think there's anything to be concerned or worried about. And secondly, depends what you mean by backing him. Will he get the players that he wants? Yes. Will he be financially backed, which I know a lot of fans won't believe he has been, because it won't be, big numbers, 100 million pound players. No, of course he won't. But he won't need those types of players. I think he'll get the players in the positions that he wants. Yeah.
H. Harry, are you with us, sir? Are you Ange in? Are you Ange out?
Sorry, you froze on my screen. Sorry, everyone else was all right. You froze. Sorry.
You froze on the rest of ours. It's all right. Lovely look.
There we go. Really? No, but all seriousness, after that Chelsea game, we're still behind Ange Postecoglou in terms of, and I've someone, I wouldn't say reactionary, but I haven't been happy with what I've seen this week. I'm open to admitting that. However, the bigger picture is absolutely crucial, and that is we all would have absolutely taken being the top 4 battle with 3-4 games to go in this position where we probably go 5th, maybe 6th. Absolutely would have taken it. Let's be totally honest with you. I think the majority of us sitting here thought that we'd be outside the European places, and there would have been absolutely nothing wrong with that. At the time, we lost Harry Kane, Postecoglou came in. There's a lot of unknown around the football club, so we've come a long way. The frustrating thing is we came so far. August, September, October, so impressive. It's the drop off that is really frustrating. So Ange in, of course. If I'm totally honest with you, I would say questions asked of him in terms of set pieces, another 2 goals conceded, and I can see the plug being done. So I can see this plug being pulled later on the line next season, like around Christmas time, if we don't improve things like this. But myself, if I was in Daniel Levy's position, I'd be backing him. And I don't think there's any excuse not to go out there and spend 150, 200 million. It's clear evidence of that in terms of FFP. We need to do it before that opportunity isn't there. Because I think personally the cap will come in. I don't think it'll be next season. I think it'll be the season after where there'll be a cap. And I think that's the right thing to do. But from a Spurs point of view, we just have to get on with it, spend the money. And you don't want to do it on one player, distribute it out the team, as Luke says. But Ange has to get back in. And at this moment in time, I'm not confident. However, we're on the back of a disappointing week. So it's hard to be positive about much.
Exactly, just quickly, Harry, sorry, because that's an unbelievable talking point. I want to bring it up. That is really important. The fact that this cap is going to come into play. Spurs are so far ahead of FFP in terms of what we can spend, that if we don't spend it, which is going to sound ridiculous, if we don't spend it, we'll lose that advantage of having that. So we have to spend. And that's where the only thing that could twist my mind to say, actually, will he go big, is that now is the opportunity that we have that. Because as soon as that cap comes in, there'll be no excuses regarding that.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Winnie, you and your rice cakes. Same question.
I'm enjoying them rice cakes. I'm not going to lie. Mate. Ange in 100%. It's not even crossed my mind at any point. Will it in the future? I don't know, but it certainly hasn't as of yet. And I mean, it's a good point what the guys have made in terms of will he be backed. I don't know. I think that Daniel Levy has kind of taken such a massive like punt and a risk on Ange. Because like the other managers, like the Mourinho's and the Contes, etc. Yeah, okay, they didn't get backed financially, but they kind of come with this reputation that they should still be able to do well in terms of making the best out of squads and stuff like that. Even though technically they are checkbook managers, I understand that, but theoretically they should be good enough and have enough experience to be able to get the best out of a squad. Whereas, like I say, with Ange, even though Dave and Luke were banging the Ange drum for a very, very long time, it was a genuine risk taking his appointment. So I think that Levy has no choice but to then back him as well. Do you know what I mean? It's all right saying, okay, we're going to take a risk on him, but when he wants something, I'm not going to give it to him. Like, that makes no sense, like, in terms of a successful business. So look, I think he will get backed again. Whether it's like substantially in terms of finances, I don't know, but I don't think that Ange has to buy these massive players. I think he could get a cheaper player and make them into a very good player, like what he's kind of doing with Udogie and people like that. So I think he's definitely got the potential to do it, but time will tell. I think is probably the best way to put it.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Dave, final one, mate.
Yeah,
I'm not burning the house down, so we're all right on that one.
Yeah, I'm Ange in, mate. I've like I said to you, I believe in his philosophies. I believe in what he wants to do as a football manager. I mean, it worries me when you ask if Levy's going to back him, because he's got his track record shows he doesn't really. What concerns me most is we have a bloated squad. And will his priority be on shipping out players before he gives him that backing? People talk about this cap coming in. If we don't spend, and I'll be honest here now, if we do not spend the funds that are available to us with this FFP and the how far ahead we are going to be left so far behind. What we need to happen realistically is, and I'm not a financial football expert or anything like that, but what I think needs to happen is we spend that to the brink. We spend every penny that we can up to that FFP point. We don't pass it or whatever else, but we spend up to that point. And when we spend up to that point, and this cap comes in, we're on in a better position on the field because of the money we've spent than we are now. So, yeah, Daniel Levy has to back him. I think him risking losing that advantage, but then again, is he going to sit there and say, well, that's money in his pocket? I know Luke Hughes says that's money lost or whatever, but it's not. That's in his pocket. Is he going to care more about the money in his pocket, or is he going to care about us fans? Because when you look at what he's done this season with the season tickets and the prices of tickets for, over a certain age, retired people, whatever else, he hasn't really done much for the fans. So it worries me. I'm never going to say Levy's going to back a manager, because his track history proves he doesn't do that. He doesn't put his hand in his pocket when he needs to. He doesn't give them all the resources he needs to be able to do that. So as far as I'm concerned, the jury's out on that. But in my personal opinion, he doesn't get backed, and we end up in the same position next year. Everyone calling for Ange's head, and then we're all saying the same thing about a chairman, all waiting for a new rebuild and a new project. I hope that it's not that case, but track history proves to me that that's how it's been, and that's how it's probably going to be.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. It is being confirmed to me via sources live. Daniel Levy is putting all the money for this transfer window into his new hotel. So we will have a new hotel on the high road. We will have nothing else in the squad, and Manor Solomon will still be staying next year.
This is the problem, and this is what I meant in terms of why people are just so pissed off, because we have a rinse and repeat cycle at Tottenham. We get in a manager, we don't back him, we sack him. We get in a manager, we don't back him, we sack him. We get in a manager, we don't back him. We don't sell any players, and we sack them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Dave. I think one thing the whole panel can agree on tonight is that sacking Postecoglou will not be the right thing to do, in terms of we'll go further behind and be starting another project. Has he frustrated me, and has he made mistakes recently? Absolutely, but it doesn't define the season as a whole. And I'm with Luke. If you look at the bigger picture, end the season now. All eyes are on next season, on the summer. I think we have a lot to look forward to. I do think people generally do get carried away, but sacking him would not be the right thing to do.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Right. So just before we move on to Liverpool, the Chelsea scores predictions before the game were the
do we have to go through this shit?
Jesus we do have to go through this. Don't worry, mate. It's your favourite part of the show. So Luke went 2-2.
Oh, so close.
Winnie went 2-2. I don't know whether it's because they were in the same place and were holding hands while they made them predictions or not. You never know. You never know.
What we
Dave?
do in our spare time is up to us. Thank you very much.
Exactly. We are a very diverse podcast, mate.
With
We
their
love
Mansell West,
everyone. We make everyone happy and welcome here. So that's how it went, and the scores have gone because I can't shut up. Let's put it that way. Dave went 3-2 Spurs. I went 2-1 Spurs, and Harry went 2-1 Chelsea. So post game, here we are. Oh, that really didn't help. So obviously, based on the facts, we all did absolutely atrocious, apart from H. So H got a point from that game, and that left us with the following: Luke on 30, Winnie 29, Harry 22, Dave on 21, and I'm not even going to talk about myself because what's the point? So that's how we were for that one. And for leading on to Liverpool, before the game, we was all sitting there happy and thinking this was the best time to play Liverpool. So Luke went 3-1 Spurs. Winnie went 3-1 Liverpool. Dave went 3-1 Spurs. I went 3-2 Liverpool. And Harry went 3-1 Liverpool. Probably the only... Well, let's put it this way. Dave and Luke are probably eating their hearts out right now after that game. Because it couldn't have gone any worse, and we know how today did go. So,
To be honest, I was just glad when it went 4-0, to be honest, because then I knew that no one could get full points.
Well, to be fair, I think we got to do some therapy for people because, like we've all said, we've had a long week. We've all sat and watched the game today. None of us were fortunate enough to go, and thankfully we didn't waste our money getting up to Anfield and coming back to it. But so on the back of a 4-2 thumping at Anfield, where realistically we had a good first 10 minutes. We was all happy. We was all saying, "Oh, we look like we started." And then the real Spurs turned up for this season. So, Mr. Scarf, how did you feel with the lineup to first start off with and after the first 10 minutes, mate?
If I'm brutally honest with you, I wasn't happy with the lineup, if I can be totally honest with you. And, I haven't been a fan of Lo Celso, but his recent performances suggest he should be in the team. And I looked at that, and when, I look at players like Van Dijk, and I think, who's has any chance of bullying Van Dijk? And, call me crazy, but Richarlison has more of a chance than Son does. So for me, I wanted to see Son on the left, Richarlison out the middle. I want to see Lo Celso in that team. I didn't want to see Basuma. I love Sarr, and I think we got to a period where I think he's nursing a back injury. And isn't at his best, so I don't think he should have been in there. And personally, I would have scrapped inverted fullbacks, put Van de Ven on the left-hand side, brought Dragus in that physicality with, either we didn't know at the time Gakpo and Nunes playing, turned out to be Gakpo. So for me, that just made sense, and that would have dealt with the set-piece problems, etc. So I would have made quite a few changes, but let's be totally real there. That team is still good enough and go and get at least a draw at Anfield. So, not disastrous, but disappointing, absolutely.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. Winnie, no, we will not be doing justice for rice cakes, sir. That is not a slogan we will be getting behind. But
what flavour are they, Winnie?
So I'm going to go Snacker Jacks.
Top tier Snacker Jacks.
Snacker Jacks, if you are watching, which you're not, but if you are, hit me up. I will keep eating them on the stream, by the way.
Wonderful. No wonder we keep eating you crunching and all that. It's ridiculous. So if I can just go through the lineup to start with, and there were a few changes from Thursday. So we went with Vicario in goal, Emerson Royale at left back, even though he had one of the worst performances against Madwicki against Chelsea on Thursday night. Van de Ven, Romero, Porro, kind of standouts as they've always started for us most of the season if available. We then had Bentancur, Matassar and Basuma in the middle, with Son leading the line and Kulu and Johnson playing respectively as inverted wingers on the left and right, because from the way that they looked today, they kept cutting inside without using the space. So, Luke, did you feel confident that we could get a result after that lineup, or did you feel like just getting Emerson Royale on the first bus to Stansted and getting him straight out back to Barcelona?
I mean, we're pretty screwed in terms of like left back options because I don't really like Ben Davis, but he's out. Udogie, he's out. So the only option realistically is Emerson. Like I get Harry's point, but you're not putting the best winger in the world against Mickey Van der Ven. And Ange isn't going to change. If we know what Ange is, he isn't going to change his system. So Van der Ven would have to then play inverted fullback.
You forgot our third choice left back as well, mate. Ryan Sessegnon. Don't forget, we've still got him on our books, mate. He's still there.
I know, but every time I think about Ryan Sessegnon,
exactly.
He breaks his leg or something. So look, Emerson Royale is Emerson Royale. We've seen at times late in games, against Arsenal, we've seen Lo Celso play left back at times. Today we ended up seeing Oliver Skip come in and play left back. A shout out to Skippy because he was unbelievable against Mohamed Salah. But when the lineup came out, I was more interested in that midfield, and I was shocked a little bit because I was shocked by Ange Postecoglou. It looked like he kind of changed it a little bit in terms of having a flatter three in the middle instead of one playing more attacking role. But we started all right, but the problem was we got pressed quite a lot, and we just did the same thing again. Like we got the ball to the edge of the box, came out wide to Kulusevski, who then cut back on his left and then play it back to Bissouma, who play it across the side, play it across the bench. Do you know what I mean? Like it carried on like that. So it didn't really matter that we got into advanced positions in the opening 10 minutes because we didn't do anything with those advanced positions. And then all hell broke loose and we lost our heads completely. It just does annoy me a little bit that like a lot of our players, like if we'd started with Maddison, Lo Celso, and Richarlison, I don't think much would have changed in the game, to be quite honest with you. A lot of our players seem really reactionary. Against Arsenal, it was the same thing. It was, go 3-0 down and then we'll start playing. Against Liverpool today, I was like, go 4-0 down and then we'll bring on those players and they'll come on and give a reaction. If they start the game, like Richarlison started against Chelsea, and he was woeful. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know how you fix this problem of that mentality of starting games in the right way.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I mean, what I noticed from the first, say, 10, 15 minutes is we continuously tried to overload the midfield. Well, you can't do that with Liverpool. I mean, Endo, for all he's been and everyone ripped him a new one and everything like that, he's turned into a very good player for them and he's a very good professional. And
reminds me of Bentancur, Callum, to be honest with you, at his very best in terms of really cool, calm, really controlled in possession. He has that was like that swivel and turn in terms of he can turn defence into attack very quickly, very good at press. And I look at Bentancur and let's use it, for example, in Antonio Conte's reign, up until he got injured against Leicester where it all went wrong, he was probably our joint best player with Harry Kane. He was really good. His pressing was good, his ball retention, and Endo has turned out to be that player. He's been a lot better than he did look back last year.
Exactly, mate, exactly. So, Winnie, if I can come over to you, mate, we get to, what was it, about 15 minutes in? 16 minutes, and Salah scores. And, I mean, let's put it this way. When I saw it and I saw the clips back and everything like that, I'm just like, can we concede a more cheap goal? Salah goes past Emerson Royale once again, and I'm not an Emerson Royale out person, but I mean, after the last two games, I think that I don't mind him as right back, just not as a left back.
Look at Dave's face.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give every player a chance, but I think let's put it this way: I think Emerson Royale has had his chance the last two games, and
he's had 100 chances. He's played 100 games. He's still dog shit.
Well, that's the thing, mate. I was trying to get a reaction out of you, so it's
24 million we paid for that nonsense. 24 million.
We played 26 and Eric Lamela for Brian Hill, mate.
Did no one see the tweet from Matt Law where he was like, people inside Barcelona still can't believe that Tottenham were happy to pay 24 million for Emerson Royale. I still can't fucking believe it.
Well, yeah, that summer they did it with Emerson Royale and bloody Mariba from them. RB Leipzig coughed up 40 million for him as well. So, I mean, they fucking had a killing for that, and yet they still failed FFP. So it's all good. It's all good, mate. But yeah, Winnie. So obviously, Salah goes past Emerson Royale to be in a brilliant position to head Liverpool 1-0 ahead. Was you pissed? Was you just like, here we go again? Or did you think, could we still do something?
I'll be completely honest. I I had completely written us off before this game, regardless. A very informed Tottenham Hotspur would probably still go to Anfield and lose. So there was zero expectation from me. So when the inevitable happened, I wasn't that bothered. But look, what I will say as a whole, for the whole, for the game itself, Emerson Royale, and it's kind of alluding to what Luke said, Emerson Royale is nowhere fucking near good enough for us. And 3 of the goals were his fault, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But we have nobody to put there. Everyone, and again, I don't want to just like discredit everything that everyone's saying.
Really?
Obviously, H talking about Van de Ven. Van de Ven, I'm telling you now, as good as he is, Van de Ven he wouldn't have got roasted as much, but I think he gets roasted against Mohamed
Can
Salah.
I just make a point here, Winnie?
In what way though? Because Van de Ven beats
Hang on,
him
can
for
I
pace,
hang on?
he beats him
Let me
for
make a point.
physicality.
Let me make a point. Let me make a point. You know, everyone says we haven't got another left back. We got one playing at Brentford right now, and he's in banging form.
Yeah.
But then the only counterbalance that I'd say to that, Dave, is Luke, you're on mute, mate. You're on mute. So you're talking to yourself. But yeah, the only counter argument that I'd make towards that, Dave, is that every source has reported that Reguilon as soon as the going gets tough and he don't get his own way, he sits in the corner and sulks and all that. Now,
Reguilon's had his chances. That's what I will say.
Would
And he
you
hasn't
rather have
taken them,
Reguilon
though.
there or Emerson
I don't
Royale?
think he has. I don't think he's had any chances really, and when he did, he looked good. I haven't seen one game that I thought he played bad for Spurs. I think he was a player that was shifted out when we haven't even managed him. I liked him under Conte personally.
He didn't. He can't play inverted. That's the problem.
But going back to the thing, obviously, H, you said Howard, and I'm assuming you're alluding to his pace, Van de Ven. That's all well and good.
Yeah.
That's all well and good, yeah. But look, I'm not being funny, but fucking Isak turned him inside out against Newcastle. You think Salah wouldn't do the same? Salah with his little trickery feet, he'd do the same. Van de Ven is a brilliant defender and he's a great footballer, and his main asset is pace. Salah would not beat him for pace. There's no way about that. But would he turn him inside out?
Yeah, it's trickery, 100%.
I just don't think that he would do a better job than Emerson Royale. I don't know why.
Oh, mate, my 3-year-old would do a better job than Emerson Royale. Jesus Christ.
I know.
Honestly.
Do you know what, Winnie? I totally get where you're coming from in terms of, and that could be the case because Isak did do it, and whatever you put that down to, he did turn Van de Ven inside out. He's been very good, but Van de Ven was awful. But I just get Emerson and go responsible for 3 goals. I think there's a couple that maybe would have got turned out, but that first goal that we're currently discussing, for me, Van de Ven just has that awareness of where his man is.
Possibly, yeah. That first goal, maybe. That first goal.
Yeah, but I totally get what you're saying. Let's be honest, limited for options. As frustrating as it is, and Emerson, should he be at the club? No, definitely not. God, David, give me a dizziness go like that. But no, he didn't have much options at the end of the day.
Exactly. So I'm going to hand over the second goal to Luke because I have to apologise. I didn't see the Robertson goal. I was in the toilet at the time, and I haven't rewatched. So, Luke, talk us through it, mate. Talk us through it.
It was just one of those comedy of errors, wasn't it? The ball just was ricocheting around. Robertson passes the ball into Salah, I believe, who has a shot, comes off Vicario. Robertson's continued his run and slotted it in the back of the net. It was a period of time where we weren't really able to clear the ball, and we were really struggling when it came to passing out because under Ange, it's as soon as we get the ball, regardless of how many players are around you, it's pass your way out all the way out. And a few moments earlier, Bentancur had kind of scuffed one out. Romero had passed one out straight to Liverpool. We were under the cosh. It was right before half time. I think if we go in at half time 1-0, it's a different game than going in 2-0 down. But talking about Van de Ven, just one more time, is that Van de Ven's a great player when he has to, track back from balls over the top, things like that. When it comes to one-on-one defending with his back to goal and being ran at, that's when he struggles. His feet, I think, maybe his legs are too long.
He's got the quickest feet, has he?
Tangled up like big spaghettis, and then
he hasn't got the quickest feet.
Exactly, boys. Exactly. Before we go on to the next goal, there's an incident that I know H you commented on Twitter at half time between Romero, who's arguably been one of our best players in the last 4 fixtures, who at least wants to play for the badge, and Dave's version of the toilet in Emerson Royale. So talk me through.
He's
what
not on
happened
Hoiberg
in
level yet, mate. Calm down.
Well, he's not far off. Let's put it that way. But
No.
Oh, come on.
H, talk us through what happened and why has it caused so much controversy? Let's put it that way.
Yeah, well, it's two players, clashing, and we've seen it in little bits. The last time, from a Spurs point of view, we saw it to a big level was under Jose Mourinho, I believe, between Son and Lloris. In terms of Lloris was fuming at Son for not tracking back, and I like that because that shows passion and not being funny. But the last 7 days, I've questioned, do the players care? We haven't seen that. We just don't know that, and for me, that proves that there is that little bit of heart. Romero goes over to Emerson. He has every right to do so. Obviously responsible at the time for the first 2 goals in a half. We found out this was later responsible for the third. So I think Romero's well within his right. I've been very critical of him, especially last season. I thought he was atrocious. And I think sometimes his positioning in the high line, even today, isn't good. But he's stepped up. He's a leader. He takes responsibility. And players at Emerson, they shy away from responsibility, and we have quite a few in the team that do it, even experienced top players that we've seen come in the door this summer. So I like to see that. I think it's a good thing. It's healthy, it's what you want among the team. So I don't get why it caused much controversy. Fair play to Romero. I just hope that he wasn't kind, because you can't be kind to a player that is at fault for both goals at the end of the day. And I'm all for getting behind players, but they have to know when they're not doing their job. And Emerson simply didn't do that. Half time. Luke's right. 1-0 down, it's a different story, but 2-0 at Anfield, always a push with the players who got out, and whatever you think of Timo Werner, but not having those players as options to come off the bench, it makes it even harder for Tottenham to get back in the game. So that's what happened. I think it's healthy, but I'm sure they'll be friends once again after the game. That's what it's all about.
I would like to agree with you, mate. I would like to agree with you, but when Romero turns from hero to villain for goal 3, with also our friend Emerson Royale culpable for it, or am I wrong? So Gakpo, well, you think at halftime, Ange's probably going to give him a bollocking, saying you've all been appalling, you need to step up, you need to do this, you need to do that. No change at halftime, and then Gakpo scores in the 50th minute. Dave, you're shaking your head at me, mate. You're looking at
Emerson's
me as
a piece of shit. It was his fault for the 3rd goal as well. Simple as that. You can't blame Romero. Gakpo got up really, really well. Emerson's just a piece of shit. That's all I want to say on it, to be honest.
Okay. Winnie, you've got a cheeky grin on you. Dave's still looking at me as if I've got an eye in the top of my forehead as well, and not just a massive forehead. Let's put it that way. So, Winnie, rice cake's still nice, or are they dog shit like Emerson Royale?
Rice cakes are phenomenal, mate. Absolutely, it's been the highlight of my day, the highlight of my week, actually.
I thought seeing Luke would have been the highlight of your week.
Person. So no. Look, do you know what? It's a bad day. We'll allude to it as much as we can. It is a very, very bad day at the office for Emerson Royale.
Another one,
and it didn't get any better, and it's not going to. So there's not much more we can say about it.
He was technically at fault for the 4th as well, wasn't he?
I don't know about that. I mean, that's some
he should have cleared the ball.
Stop
he should have cleared the ball.
He's a wonder goal. We can't do anything about that.
Was it not him? Was it not him holding the ball?
All right, listen. It's a wonder goal. It is a wonder goal. I might get the 2 goals mixed up here, but when the cross comes in the back post, Emerson tries to flick it.
It was, but I think he was stretching.
But the thing is, he reads the game better. He puts it out for a corner, or he flicks it up higher over his head. He doesn't allow Salah to get the ball. You can't do nothing about the finish. The finish is unbelievable, but the build up to that goal, he should clear the ball.
He does flick it on to Salah, but then Bentancur, I would say, is actually more culpable, because I am rewatching the highlights just at the moment whilst everyone is lovingly talking along. But Bentancur should go towards Elliott, pulls out, and then obviously Elliott scores the wonder goal, which ultimately is probably the best goal of the game, I would say. But once again, it's a culmination of bollocks errors from Spurs creating our own mess. Let's put it that way. And I don't think any of us, well, let's put it this way. If Son scored a goal like that, or a Charleston or something like that, we'd be overjoyed, wouldn't we? Because we haven't seen enough of them this season.
We don't shoot from outside the box, so we'll never see that.
Exactly, mate. Exactly. I mean, we don't even shoot from inside the box. Let's put it that way.
We don't shoot at all.
Yeah, I mean, what did we have to wait till? Probably the 70th minute, was it, until we actually did something? And
Yeah,
and rings the subs between the Elliott goal and the 72nd minute. We start getting a little bit of tempo and building up and trying to get into our game. And once again, like everyone on the panel has said, it's all reactionary. We are reacting, but you want to react to 1-0, not 4-0 down, and not because Elliott has just scored one of the best goals of probably this weekend's fixtures and all that, compared to Haaland getting 4 against Wolves yesterday. But the whole point of it was that Richarlison comes on and turns into a thorn in Liverpool's side. I mean, we saw it last year in the 4-3 draw. One, thank you, Lucas Moura, for turning it into 4-3 and not 3-3. But obviously, Son and Richarlison, was it Richarlison and Johnson? Sorry, was it who linked up the first goal? So I'm gonna leave this open. Who wants to talk about this one, boys? Who wants to talk about it? Put your hands up, please.
I mean, I'll tell you. I mean, to be honest, like I said to you, it's our 2 goals are kind of irrelevant. In my opinion, doesn't make a difference to the result. They showed some heart and some fight towards the end. That was brought on by the substitutions. But Luke's point earlier on is spot on. Doesn't matter if those players have started the game, we still have the same problems. There's a mentality issue. So I don't really feel like as a podcast we need to talk about our goals. I think Richarlison did really well when he came on and made a massive difference. And he'll probably get the nod to start against Burnley. But is he going to turn up in the same vein of form, in the same way? Probably not. So it doesn't make a difference that we got 2 late goals. We probably could have had a couple more. Richarlison had a couple of chances when the ball was over the top, takes a better touch forward, and he's in on goal. But yeah, the reality of it is this whole we're going to start playing when we're 3-4-0 down isn't acceptable. So as far as I'm concerned, we should have started playing a lot earlier. But the players that came off the bench made a massive difference. Lo Celso, even Maddison made a difference when he came on. Skippy made a great difference, and Richarlison was a thorn in their side. But it is what it is, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, to be fair, sorry, mate.
I think talking on Richarlison quickly, I think that the one thing he did unbelievably well today was staying on side. I was so impressed about how many times he stayed on side, because every time he was through on goal, I was convinced he was offside, like 100% convinced. And then when he didn't score or he was tackled or whatever happened, I was watching the replays back and I was like, oh my God, he's onside again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, they were perfect. They were perfect today, his runs. Like, as a striker myself, it's not easy to make that run so perfect. And I mean, obviously, I don't have VAR intervening when I play, so I can maybe have that little margin for error. But yeah, his runs were fucking perfect today, and I 100% would give him the nod. It's like, I don't want to be that person, because at the start of it, like we were calling out for it against Chelsea, yeah, and Richarlison was pants, okay,
yeah.
But then, we rightfully so, we weren't calling out for it today. But at half time, it was quite evident that was what we needed. And to his credit, he came in and I don't want to be the person that says, oh, look, all of a sudden we have a number 9 and now we go and score. It wasn't because of having a number 9. It was just the fact that he had a positive influence on the game. And again, it was a great finish.
Can I just when he said,
go for it.
In terms of, I think we have a lot of players that impact the game, and when he's right, I love Richarlison, but again, David important as well. Will he, against Burnley, be as good? I just can't see it. Players, we have a lot of players that impact games. Look at Brennan Johnson, Richarlison, Werner, and I want them to, when we need a goal or we need a moment of magic, to bring them on, and that's what I think that it has to be there for. But ultimately, we have majority of our attackers, if not all, are players that impact players. So I'll keep hold of the majority of them, but I'll be looking to bring in good caliber of players. Of course, we know we need a striker, but winger, etc. as well in the summer, because we just have players that impact games, and the Celsos, but definitely your Johnsons, Werners, and Richarlisons. I always look as an option to have off the bench to impact the game, that healthy competition, that fresh legs. Because I love Johnson, but I've never really seen him play well when he started. However, when he comes off the bench, I've never seen him not be good. And I could probably say the same with that Timo Werner as well, if not Richarlison. So we've got all these players that are so much better off the bench. I think that's good to have, but also proves that we need good caliber of players, experienced players, top players, if you like, in that team. Your Alexander Isak's for a striker, for example. Not saying we're going to go get him, but that's the type of name I go, boom, guaranteed 20, 25 goals a season. He's guaranteed to bounce back from setbacks, which you can't guarantee with the other players.
Exactly. If I can just float that around the panel quickly. So if we just take H's point that we've got a lot of good impact players who can come on from the bench. So theoretically, and this is just me making an assumption, it's not me making any judgment or anything like that. You said that we've got good squad players, but the amount of people that we think that are impact players who theoretically should be first teamers for us and start in 11, the amount that we need to take out, Richarlison, Johnson, Kulu, Lo Celso, people like that.
Maddison, being honest with you at the moment.
Maddison at the moment, based on form. How many people do we actually need to get in the summer that are going to be actual first team starters? That's the problem. We're not just talking about squad players now. We're actually talking about people who will actually come in.
I think that's a topic that will take way too long. I'll be honest. I think that's a topic that will take
a long time. We probably only need three. We probably only need three players. Players.
I think four. I think four. But...
Three. Yep.
Yeah, three. Yeah.
I think we need a world class winger. I'd love 3 world class wingers, 4, but I think realistically we need 1 world class.
Which side, Winnie?
Right.
Why can't he play both?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like someone that's interchangeable, but if we're going to go out and out, me personally, I would like a phenomenal world class right winger. I would also like to go and get an out and out striker like an Isak, for example, as you said. He would fit perfectly at Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, I'm banging that drum for weeks.
We won't get him, but even I've questioned his attitude, etc., and maybe his allegiances other than Brentford. But I think someone like Ivan Toney again would be a fucking brilliant addition. I don't think he's a Tottenham type player because of the kind of issues he's got.
The caliber of player, yes.
But will he make a difference in this side? Yes. And if I'm completely honest, I think our defence, I'm very satisfied with our defence. It's for me, it's almost like kind of reminiscent to the Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Rose, Walker, with a little bit of work. I think we can have a defence like that with the current personnel we've got. So maybe, and obviously Dragusin in. So I think if we're going to be obvious, I think we need to address a few fullback issues. But in terms of world-class people that's going to start, I think we need a winger for sure and maybe a centre midfielder.
Oh, yeah, defensive midfielder. Can I just say one thing? If Dragusin's agent's watching, shut the fuck up, you bellend.
That's literally
all I've got to say about him. Jesus Christ.
The geezer's a wanker. He doesn't know when to shut his mouth, does he?
But anyway, yeah.
Don't worry. Dragusin's mum's going to be commenting on Monday saying that the agent didn't say it or some stuff like that. So
can I also say, sorry, quick one, a big shout out to that young lad played over in Poland, that Luka Viskovic, because he scored against them.
Mate.
Oh, he's class.
Team's 3-0 win, and he's only like 16, isn't he?
Yeah.
Exactly, mate.
He's decent,
he plays full time. He scored again today as centre back, so fair play to him.
And he wears Tottenham shin pads. What a legend!
Does he? Yeah. I always get updates by my Polish.
But don't forget, next season we've got Bergvall coming in as well. People forget about him. Don't sleep on him, mate.
There are some good players to come in back from loan as well. Don't forget Phillips, Devine, people like that. Whether they're good enough or not, that's still to be questioned. But if you are looking at offloading players to give Ange the sufficient funds to do stuff in the transfer window, then if you can get a certain turnaround for Parrott, Devine, people like that, then it would make us more in line with other Premier League academies who develop good players for the first team, but also turn them for profit to actually do stuff for FFP, make us more compliant with stuff, but also turn baseline straight line profit for it as well. So you never know. There could be a gem or two that comes back. And I believe Matthew Craig as well is in the playoffs in League Two with Doncaster, I believe, as well. So a big shout out to him as well for how well he's done this season. So just on the back of that, so if we go back to the scores that we all predicted, 3-1 Luke, to Spurs, 3-1 to Liverpool, Winnie, 3-1 Spurs to Dave, 3-2 to Liverpool for me, and 3-1 to Liverpool for H. So this is how the table stands. Winnie is going so far toe-to-toe with Luke that Luke has got squeaky bum time going on at the moment. Harry has pulled ahead of me and Dave. And Dave, I've finally caught up with you, mate. So I'm not last. I'm joint last. It's brilliant, ain't it?
Still bottom on alphabetical order, mate, so I'll take that.
You're a dick. You're a dick. Can't you lot give me anything this season? It's ridiculous.
No.
Well, you go and do about with your weed whacker, mate. Do about with your weed whacker. It's all right. So, next weekend, and do we think that it's going to be a dead rubber game? Is it going to be a special one?
No, it's going to be a Spurs one, mate.
Are Burnley safe, or are they still in with a chance of staying in the Premier League?
Not
massively, but no, they're done. It's a dead rubber for them. I think we'll smash them, to be honest. I think Richarlison will bang in a couple of goals next week. I think he's perfect to play against a team like Burnley, and Son will probably come on form as well. And then hopefully we beat Burnley, and then Man City pump us 6 or 7-0.
Well, hopefully, mate.
Yeah, I think they're already down, aren't they, Burnley? Because they're, are they, 5 points off Forest?
Well, is it mathematically now?
No, they're 5 points off Forest. 17th with 2 games. Oh, is it? Yeah, with 2 games.
There's 5 points adrift at the moment.
Yeah,
with 2 games to go. So yeah, we like relegating teams. Let's be honest, we like relegating sides. So
yeah, I was going to say, I think wasn't it against Leeds last year we did it or something like that?
Yeah.
So I mean,
so we don't score prediction for both games this week, are we? Or
there's only 1 game this week, isn't there? Or is there?
There's 1 game, and then City on the 14th.
Oh, yeah. It's only 1 this week, Dave. It's not a clusterfuck like this week. Let's put it that way. I think we at least get to have a little bit more peace and quiet and tranquility and all that rubbish this week. So, obviously, 3 o'clock kickoff on Saturday on the 11th of May against Burnley. How do we all think we're going to do? Luke, how are you thinking, mate?
Oh, I love that. Like, I'm top of the league, being absolutely closed down by Winnie. Be nice to go to Winnie first, but don't worry. I'm a man about town, and I'm not afraid to.
Are you going to cry?
I'm if you want me to give my prediction first, I'll do it.
Are you going to cry?
Fighting talk from Winnie,
first, mate.
3-0 Spurs. 3-0 Spurs.
3-0 Spurs. Oh, there we go. Dave.
Go first, Luke, mate. Yeah, as you said, you're going to start taking it seriously now, acting like you wasn't beforehand. But
well, I think he's not, because Spurs don't keep clean sheets. So 3-1 Spurs.
3-1 Spurs. Winnie.
3-1 Spurs.
Okay. H.
2-1 Spurs.
2-1 Spurs.
What,
do you not think?
Spurs?
Do you reckon we ain't got enough in our locker?
No, I don't think so. I think Burnley will be fighting. I think they'll go. They'll be
Burnley
down
winning
for a lot.
Okay. Do you reckon they might just come out and just decide to ruin our day? I mean, it is at Spurs, so I mean, I'll reckon.
If we were away, I'd say we'd probably lose that. To be honest with you, but because we're at home,
all they're going to do, Todd, all they're going to do is they. I know. I say obviously they need to win. That's quite obvious, but I don't think they're even going to bother trying to attack us. It's just going to be relentless pressure, and eventually, what will happen is we will score a goal. Let's say in the first half, which is a rarity for Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, but we will. Yeah. We'll break them down eventually. They will then have to come out and try and go for it, and we will then pick them off one by one. Then, so that's why.
To be fair though, they did give Man United a game. I know Man United are just probably as bad as us. At the moment, and they're nothing special, but not much worse. They're catching up with us in to 5th, so I'm a little bit stressed out about that. But they obviously Burnley gave them a game, but we did give Burnley a bloody nose 5-2 at Turf Moor earlier in the season, didn't we? So hopefully we get a return on that. So I'm gonna go for 4-2 Spurs. I'm going to go, 4-1 actually, 4-1.
Oh, do we have to take his first one,
guys?
Can I just mention
something?
No, you don't. It's not on paper yet. I haven't put anything down, so...
I wrote it down, don't worry, 4-1.
By the way, Burnley played Nottingham Forest at home last day of the season. So in that Spurs game, they have to win, obviously rely on Forest result as well. But Burnley facing Forest last game of the season, that could potentially be interesting. But I've just realised because we have 3, so I'm getting confused. Burnley and Nottingham Forest only have 2. That's quite a big gap that Burnley got close. It has to be a win at Tottenham, and just bring up Nottingham Forest fixtures here as well. They got Chelsea at home, so even a draw will be enough for them. But it could be interesting final day. So Burnley will have a lot to fight for, but it has to be a win minimum.
I'm hoping you're right, mate. I'm hoping you're right. So let's see what everyone has.
What, the Burnley win?
No.
I just said Burnley needs to win. Right.
You froze. No one heard that. Right, let's see what everyone's saying. So Thomas in the chat has gone 5-1 Spurs. Do you really think we got that much firepower in us, Thomas? Because I really don't. Johnny has gone, well, your last victory of the season at home, 4-1. Barney 4-0, and saying that we are due a clean sheet. Yeah, big chance of that, mate. Big chance of that. If Emerson Royale's at left back, then we know he's probably going to get skinned by someone. But I don't even know who the Burnley players are, so I'm not even going to name a name because I'll embarrass myself. So we're all going for Spurs wins. We're all hoping for a more pleasant weekend. We are hoping that we will be having a nice Saturday night, and hopefully I'll be having a Chinese, having it as well nicely. Winnie will be still eating rice cakes because he has got an endless supply of Snacker Jacks for the week to live him out. Dave will hopefully not be aging anymore in the week. We never know. Luke will continue being Luke, and Luke will still have a go at me even though I screw up all the time. You never know. And H will keep on banging that drum saying Timo Werner will still be signed by Spurs, but will he or will he not? Oh,
I've only got about 5 more minutes, boys, and I've got to go. So I've got to. Can I just jump in, Cal? Just have a quick chat about something before I shoot off. So, as many of our regular watchers, listeners, and everybody else know, and as we know, H announced a few months ago that will be leaving the channel. Obviously, we all wish him very, very well. He's been a great asset to us as a channel. He's brought a lot. He's brought youth and energy. He's very opinionated, and he can be a bit of a dick sometimes, but that's why we love H. So he will be missed, obviously, leaving the channel. But on that note, a big announcement from us. This is one of a few which will be coming over the next few weeks, few months before next season. H isn't leaving the channel. So what we have in store for the channel is H will be leaving the main show. H will be leaving the Sunday show, but he will be off doing his own thing under the Park Lane podcast, and he will be doing a weekly Premier League review show, which I'm very excited about. H, do you want to step in for a couple of minutes just to talk us through what your plan is and what nights and things like that, and kind of go from there?
Absolutely, yeah. Firstly, obviously, it is early days, and thank you, Dave, Luke, everyone for the opportunity. It's been a pleasure. The Sunday shows, been here over a year now, and that's gone, so quickly. But I've enjoyed every single moment, and cannot step away from the podcast. That's quite a big thing, I think, to step away from something that has been my home, as I said, for nearly a year and a half. So there will be a Premier League show, date and time yet to be confirmed, but we will be reviewing results from the previous game week, previewing upcoming weeks, and it will be big. We have some of the biggest guests on from all kinds of fan channels. Have been in contact with quite big people already, so it should be really good. Looking forward to it. So thank you for the opportunity. Do stay tuned. It will be probably midweek where you close enough to review the weekend before, but also preview the upcoming game week. Very exciting year next season for the channel. So who knows? We can say the same about Spurs. You can certainly say the same about Park Lane Podcast. And not enough of you subscribe, so do smash that subscribe button. But looking forward to getting this show up and running. It will be big.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to H having some a little bit creative control, being able to run a show how he wants to run it on a night that he chooses. Like I said, I think you've got a big future, H, and I'm very happy that we've decided to keep you on board and give you this free run. So I'm sure you'll do great things, mate.
Thank you.
Exactly, boys. Exactly. So big up H and big up Dave for his lovely words as well. Myself, Luke, Winnie, and Dave will obviously be back in H every step of the way. And you never know, he might actually invite us over one night. You never know. We might be welcome.
You got to keep hitting that subscribe and that like button though, because there is some big things coming from this channel which we haven't even disclosed yet. So keep tuning in, keep watching, keep liking, keep subscribing. You know, we want to hit that 1,000. I think we're at 844 at the moment on YouTube. So every single one of you, you know, in the comments, you know, make a second YouTube account, subscribe on that too. You know, do us a favor. But no, on all serious note, everyone here works really hard. You know, we all do it because we love Tottenham. We all have that common interest. So yeah, the boys are great. So make sure you support us all the way.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
boys, exactly. And like Dave said, we all do it because we are football fans. We love football. We love doing what we do. Yeah, it's tough at times. And Luke gives up a lot of his time for Park Lane podcast. H gives up a lot of time for Park Lane and for his own channels as well. Myself, Dave and Winnie all work hard.
We're like,
Yeah.
The glowing compliments.
Where they could be bothered.
I was getting to you. I was getting to you. Don't worry. I'm the same as you guys. We all back Luke.
Rice cake.
We all back Luke up on a weekly basis, and obviously the podcast wouldn't be the same without any of our hosts. So obviously, just go and follow everyone on Twitter. Like and subscribe to the podcast. We want to keep creating this content. We want to keep working together. We are all mates. We do want to get as much support around the world from you guys as possible. We are more than happy to have a chat with you. We're more than happy to have a laugh with people. If people want to get involved and give us ideas for different parts on the podcast as well, we're more than open to them. And obviously it has been a tough season, it has been difficult, but we are still supporting, we are still here, we are getting older, we do look more grey each week. Winnie has gone mental on Snacker Jacks. Myself and Dave will continue being grumpy, moody bastards, but everyone loves us for it. Luke will continue laughing at all of us and knowing that he is the heart and soul of this show. And H will always have his lovely debates with us, knowing that sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong, and sometimes we will just all argue, but we love each other and we love everyone that watches us. So thanks very much.
You're spot on, Cal. You are spot on. You know, when we had, you know, when me and Luke were on Brother Side TV, this was just an idea that we came up with, that we were like, you know what, let's just try a Tottenham channel. And we sat down for a little while discussing names and discussing this and discussing what we could do and how to begin. And, you know, you three have just joined as part of the journey along the way. And, you know, it's really good to have all of you here. And everybody here adds that little bit of quality, including H, which is why I'm delighted that he's going to have his own little thing to run off with. And like I said, more to come. Keep following, keep subscribing.
Exactly. And just to let you know, we'll be back on Tuesday night for some more Pro Clubs. Winnie is available on Tuesday. I'm available on Tuesday.
Bloody hell. Is it a full moon? Is it a full moon? Is he going full werewolf for the Tuesday night?
Okay.
Jesus.
I've really got to go. We've overrun a bit, so I've got to shoot. But I'll let you wrap up. I've got to go now. But you can see me at Parkland Pod Dave or on the main Twitter. But I'll see you soon, boys. All right.
Lovely stuff. Cheers, Dave. See you later, mate.
Cheers, mate.
And just before we finish as well, because I know H wants us to mention it, FPL. So
we have to.
Some good weeks. Anybody that captained Haaland this week did well. Anyone that didn't captain Haaland did not do so well. As of yesterday. Oh, wait, hold on. It's refreshed. Give me one second.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Just refresh my screen.
I don't even care anymore.
There we go.
So, top of the league right now is Juan Sancho, 2,175 points. Dave is second, 2,166 points. And then we move down to me in sixth, 2,068 points. Winnie in ninth with 1,950 points.
I've gone up a spot.
14th is Harry with 1,800 points. And then Callum is 16th with 1,582 points.
It is worth noting, though, Luke, that Dave is still yet to play Mateta, who's in prime form up against a Man United team with like one centre-back available in Harry Maguire. So he's out injured now as well.
He's out injured now as well.
No centre back available, or not many as I know. So I think Dave will be top.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But
I'm catching everyone. 67 points and didn't even have Haaland in my team. Look at that.
95 this week. I'll take that.
Nice.
That kind of wraps us up, though, right? I don't think there's much more to discuss.
No, I think we're all good, boys. I think we're all good.
Yeah.
So, obviously, thanks very much for everyone tuning in. So, Winnie, let's go with you. Your top left first, mate. So, where can everyone find you and tell us about FPL as well, mate? Or not FPL? Is it? No.
Oh, Pro Clubs.
Pro Clubs. There we go. Who you got
mate.
playing and how you getting on?
Yeah, Winnie 1991 on Twitter. The Pro Clubs thing seems to have had a bit of a good reception. We do get some good people and regular people like we do with this podcast coming over and watching and commenting. So yeah, we're just trying to push that as much as we can. We've got we have got like a regular side, but we've also got a few new additions. Sometimes Holly jumps on when she's not at the pub. And adds that little bit of that little bit of jokiness to it as well, obviously, because she's a good one, is Holly. So yeah, it's going well. We're kind of gelling as a team as well, which is good. And it's taken a while, but yeah, we seem to be doing all right. So yeah, this Tuesday, 8 p.m. live, get there and watch us and comment and just have a bit of banter while we're playing, because we do offer that. Obviously, we're all concentrating, but we also like the comments because we can also give some banter back to you guys while we're playing. So
yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly. Wonderful stuff. So, Luke, are you on Tuesday as well playing, or?
Yep, I'll be there. I'm not sure which position I'll play. I often change various positions, but we'll see wherever I'm needed.
I'm the bagsman. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, right.
Apart from the other week, he didn't score a single goal the entire game. So,
am I allowed on this week, or am I too horrible to you, mate?
No, you can tune in because we need your views and your comments.
Please do use the views.
Exactly, okay. But no, yeah, I'll be there Tuesday 8:00 along with the other regulars. If you want to follow me as well, Luke_Park Lane. But more importantly, click the subscribe button. Head over to the YouTube channel. We've had so many people tonight watch us on Twitter, and so shout out to everybody on Twitter. But go over to YouTube now and type in Park Lane Podcast and just click the subscribe button. It's free to do so, and it's really, really important.
Wonderful stuff. Wonderful stuff. Mr. Scarf, thank you very much for tonight, mate. Obviously, your show tomorrow night. Who you got on with you, mate? Who you got on?
Firstly, thank you very much for having me, Callum. A good job of hosting. Very, very good. We enjoyed it. So thank you very much for that. And Winnie, Dave, who's gone, but also Luke as well. My own show tomorrow. You can find 7:45 p.m. I've got crackers on from last one. The Spurs got Ben Bowman, probably I would say huge right now in terms of Spurs on TikTok. So that should be good. Callum, I believe you are on this Monday. Am I right? As a last result, or have I got that completely wrong?
No, I am on as a last result, mate. I did get a sub call up, but I am not your Emerson Royale. I am not a hamstring issue, so I will.
Well, we judge at the end of tomorrow. We judge that.
You horrible sod.
But no, thank you very much for coming on. You can check me out there. Subscribe to Park Lane Podcast. Check out my own channel, Scarfy Spurs. A lot of content coming as well. I have a Premier League show every Wednesday night. Match reactions, match previews, weekly shows, match day vlogs. Interviews coming up. Got loads coming up with different fans, different content creators, and some Spurs legends in there as well. I also got one with Holly Agrambar coming up. So do stay tuned. There is a lot coming. So thank you very much for having me again.
That's great to hear, mate. And obviously, thanks very much to everyone on the show this week. And if anyone wants to follow me and wants to hit me up, my Twitter handle is CallumStubbs97. I am to everyone, I'm a bit of a dick, don't worry, but I do love doing this with everyone on the pod. And like I said, everyone loves doing it. So like and subscribe. Everyone from Twitter, give us a like and a follow, and just tune in next week. And don't forget to follow Winnie and Luke with the FPL, and check out Harry's show tomorrow night as well. And we will be backing everyone up. So have a good evening, guys, and come on, you Spurs.
Out the Spurs.
Come on,